My father gave me a choice. Inherit the family's $3 billion fortune or accept a monthly allowance of $1,500. Without a moment's hesitation, I chose the $1,500. I was calm. My trust fund roommate, on the other hand, was losing his mind. In my previous life, I had chosen the $3 billion. My roommate, Caleb, stole my family trust credentials and flew our entire senior class to Las Vegas. In a single night, the $3 billion vanished, squandered at the casino tables. The family business went bankrupt. The shock sent my father into a fatal heart attack. When I confronted Caleb, demanding he pay it back, he hid behind my girlfriend, Mia, a picture of wounded innocence. "Leo, man," he'd said, "you can't just blame me because your family went broke." Mia drove the point home by kicking me so hard she cracked my ribs. "Leo Vance," she'd snarled, "it was your own gambling, your own wastefulness. How dare you accuse Caleb? Have you no shame?" When I tried to hire a private investigator, our class president, Kevin, ran me down with his car. Mia and the entire class testified on his behalf, swearing I had thrown myself in front of the vehicle, a desperate attempt at insurance fraud. I opened my eyes, and I was back. Back on the day, I had to make the choice. It was just before graduation, and Caleb was making a grand announcement to the class. "All right, everyone, listen up. To celebrate graduation, I'm taking us all to Vegas. All expenses paid on me." Caleb's words hit me like a physical blow. The phantom pain of shattered bones flared through my body. It was then I knew for sure. I was back. The classroom erupted in cheers. "Caleb, you're a legend. That's our boy. Vegas. We have to hit the casinos. I've only ever seen them in movies." Caleb beamed. "Of course. We're hitting the strip big time." His eyes landed on me, and he swaggered over. "Leo, my man, I hear the Vance family has a black card with the casinos. How about you lend it to us? Let the class get a taste of that real VIP treatment." My face went cold. The tragedy that destroyed my family, my life, had started with this exact moment, with Caleb asking for that card. Back then, under the guise of borrowing the card, he had secretly taken the credentials for the $3 billion Swiss trust fund my father had set up for me. I didn't realize what had happened until I got a call from a bankruptcy court informing me the company was insolvent. The money Caleb had used to treat the entire class was my family's entire fortune. When I went to his house to demand it back, he cowered behind Mia. "Leo, you can't blame me for your family's screw-ups." And Mia, she'd kick my ribs in. "It was your own damn fault, Leo. You're the one with the gambling problem. And now you're trying to frame Caleb? You're pathetic." When I tried to find proof, Caleb ran me over, reversing back and forth until I stopped breathing. Afterward, Mia and every single one of our classmates swore to the police that my family's bankruptcy had driven me to suicide. My father, devastated by the news, had a heart attack and died. I mechanically reached for my backpack, my fingers brushing against the cool metal of the card. I clenched my fist around it. Seeing my hesitation, Caleb slung an arm around my neck. "Come on, Leo. Just letting us use it for a bit. It's not like it'll cost you anything." "Sorry," I said, pulling away and shoving the card deep into an inner pocket of my bag. "It's my dad's. I can't just lend it out." Caleb's smile faltered. "Dude, you're going to inherit his company anyway. What's the big deal? It's all in the family." Suddenly, Mia snatched my backpack. She turned it upside down, dumping everything onto the floor. My phone, my tablet, and my handheld gaming console clattered across the linoleum. Her eyes immediately found the sleek, black card with its gold trim. She picked it up and handed it to Caleb. "Here," she said with a triumphant smile. "Just take it." As Caleb took the card, his fingers deliberately brushed against Mia's. "See? Mia gets it. You should learn a thing or two from her, Leo." Then his eyes lit up as he spotted the console on the floor. "Whoa, is that the new Switch? The OLED model? I heard they're sold out everywhere. I've been trying to get one for months." Noticing his covetous stare, Mia bent down, picked it up, and shoved it into Caleb's hands. "Here, you can have it. Leo's bored of it anyway." "Thanks, Mia," Caleb said, his face breaking into a wide grin. My jaw tightened. I snatched the Switch and the VIP car back from him. "Sorry," I said, my voice sharp. "Neither of these are for loan." Mia's face flushed with anger. She grabbed my arm, her voice a piercing hiss. "Leo Vance, when did you become so cheap?" "Cheap." The word hung in the air before I swung my hand and slapped her across the face. Crack. The sound echoed through the silent classroom. Mia staggered back, clutching her cheek, her perfectly styled bangs falling into disarray. Her wide eyes were filled with disbelief, the tiny diamonds on her acrylic nails flashing in the light. "Leo, you hit me," she shrieked, sounding like a stepped-on cat. I shook my stinging hand, a cold smirk on my face. That was to teach you about boundaries. What gives you the right to give my things away to other people? The classroom exploded. Leo, are you insane? It's just a game console, dude. He hit his own girlfriend. Just because you're rich doesn't mean you can do that. Caleb rushed to steady Mia, then turned to glare at me. Leo, man, Mia was just trying to be nice to everyone. What's your problem? I bent down, gathered my scattered belongings, and calmly slipped the VIP card into my pocket. My attitude is perfectly clear. The answer is no. Mia broke free from Caleb's grasp and stormed toward me. Leo Vance, you give that card to Caleb right now and apologize to us, or we are breaking up. I refuse to date someone so selfish and small-minded. Give it back? It was always mine. Who am I supposed to give it to? I dodged her grasping hands, a thin smile playing on my lips. And if you want to break up, fine by me. Saves me the trouble. That was like kicking a hornet's nest. Mia trembled with rage. You think I care about your money? You don't. I raised an eyebrow, my gaze falling to the Cartier watch on her wrist. Then maybe you should start by returning the birthday present I gave you last week. Her face went white, and she instinctively covered the watch with her other hand. The expressions of the students around us shifted instantly. Kevin Miller, the class president, slammed his hands on his desk and shot to his feet. Leo, you're being incredibly selfish. Caleb offers to do something amazing for all of us, and you can't even think about the group for once. Yeah, the class treasurer chimed in. You always act so easygoing, but when it counts, you show your true colors. I scanned the room, looking at their faces, so familiar, yet so alien. These were the same people who, in my past life, had stood in a courtroom and sworn I committed suicide. Caleb invited you to Vegas, I said flatly. Go ask him. What does it have to do with me? Caleb stepped forward again. If we use your card, the money we spend will boost your VIP status. It's a win-win for everyone. Mia, now nestled against Caleb's side, seemed to have forgotten the stinging pain in her cheek. See? He's so reasonable. Even after you've been such a jerk, he's still thinking of you, Leo. Fine, I said slowly, pulling my wallet out. Since you all want to go to Vegas so badly, I drew out a plastic card. You can borrow this. Caleb's eyes lit up, and he reached for it. I flipped my wrist, revealing the card in full. My university meal card. Are you messing with me? Caleb's face turned livid. You started it. I twirled the card between my fingers. Isn't this what you've all been doing? Emotionally blackmailing me? Mia suddenly grabbed the chalk box from the lectern and hurled it at me. Leo, I must have been blind to ever get with you. I sidestepped the projectile, and it crashed against the wall, showering the floor with white dust. Seeing that I wouldn't give up the card, Caleb's expression darkened. He shot a look at his friends, and a few of the bigger guys immediately surrounded me. Leo, don't be an idiot, Caleb hissed, his voice low and menacing. It's just a card. Don't make this ugly. I scoffed, holding my backpack in front of me like shield. What's next? You can't borrow it, so you're going to steal it. Steal? We're just trying to knock some sense into you. Kevin Miller shoved me hard from behind. I stumbled, crashing into a desk. My backpack hit the floor, its contents spilling out once more. Mia stood to the side, a smug sneer on her face. Serves you right. The guys used the opportunity to kick my textbooks aside. One of them deliberately stomped on my switch. The screen cracked with a sickening crunch. What the hell are you doing? I lunged forward, but strong hands grabbed my shoulders, holding me back. Don't be so cheap, Leo, Caleb said with a fake smile, his hand reaching for my pocket. We're all classmates. What's the big deal about borrowing a card? I slapped his hand away. Get lost. That finally pushed Caleb over the edge. His face contorted in rage, and he grabbed my collar. You want to do this the hard way, huh? The other students didn't try to stop it. They egg him on. Deck him. Thinks he's so great with his money. Yeah, what a poser. It's just a stupid card. Seeing I wasn't backing down, Caleb threw a punch at my face. I twisted my head to the side, dodging the blow. In the same motion, I grabbed his wrist and torqued it hard. Ah, he yelped, stumbling back in pain. Mia screamed. Leo, you're fighting back. I shoved her away, quickly pulled out my phone, and dialed 911. 911. What's your emergency? Yes, I'm at Northwood University, 3rd floor of the Humanities building. There's a group of people trying to rob me. They destroyed my property and are assaulting me. Mia's face went pale. Are you insane? She shrieked, lunging for my phone. She snatched it from my hand and, without a second glance, hurled it out the open window. Crash! The phone shattered on the concrete path below. For a single second, the classroom was dead silent. But to their complete astonishment, less than 10 minutes later, the sound of sirens wailed from outside. When the police officers walked into the classroom, the color drained from Caleb and Mia's faces. Who called 911? The lead officer asked, his eyes sweeping across the room. I did, I said, raising my hand. They tried to steal my property and broke my phone. The officer looked at the mess on the floor, the cracked gaming console, then glanced out the window at my shattered phone. His brow furrowed. What's going on here? Caleb immediately put on an innocent act. Officer, it's a misunderstanding. We were just joking around. Yeah, that's right. Mia chimed in. Just a prank between classmates. The other students quickly backed them up. I cast a cold glance around the room. They were the same as before, a chorus of liars. The officer let out a humorless laugh. Breaking phones, assault. You call that a joke? Just then, Dean Miller, the dean of students, rushed in, his face grim. What in the world is going on here? Causing this kind of scene on campus? The police briefly explained the situation. After listening, the dean shot Caleb a furious glare. You again? Caleb tried to argue, but the evidence was undeniable. In the end, mediated by the police, Caleb and Mia were forced to pay for my phone and my Switch and to make a public apology. As we were leaving the dean's office, Mia leaned in close, her voice a low, vicious whisper. Leo Vance, you're going to regret this. I looked at her twisted expression, and for the first time in a long time, I smiled. I'm counting on it. When I got back to my dorm to pack, I noticed my things had been rifled through. Nothing was missing, though, so I didn't think much of it. I had just walked off campus when a black Maybach pulled up beside me. Mr. Vance, our family's driver, Wallace, said from the open window. Your father needs to see you at home. It's important. Before I could respond, he was out of the car, ushering me into the back seat. That evening, my father pushed 2 folders across the polished mahogany of the boardroom table. The light glinted off his gold-rimmed glasses, but his eyes were as sharp as steel. Leo, this is your last chance to choose. The inheritance of the $3 billion family trust, or a monthly allowance of $1,500. He tapped one of the folders. The $3 billion has already been deposited into your Swiss bank account. All you have to do is sign, and the funds are yours to command. You can begin taking over the family business. The crystal chandelier overhead cast a blinding glare. I squinted, and for a moment, I was back there, seeing the car speeding toward me, hearing the sickening crunch of my own bones. I could still hear Caleb's triumphant, mocking laughter as I lay dying. I'll take the $1,500 a month, I said. I pulled the other folder toward me and signed my name. The pen in my father's hand clattered onto the table. He shot to his feet. Are you out of your mind? I looked up at him and smiled. I'm still young, Dad. I don't have enough experience to manage a fund that large. Besides, you're still in your prime. I can use a few more years of training. My father stared at me, silent for a long time. If you choose the $1,500, that's it, he said finally, his voice cold. You won't get a single penny more each month. Are you absolutely sure? I nodded once, confirming my decision. Seeing my resolve, my father sighed and spoke into the intercom. Wallace, freeze Leo's Swiss account. The next day, I tossed the 2 fake cards Caleb had planted in my bag into the trash and followed him and the rest of the class to Las Vegas. My father was a regular, and he'd brought me with him enough times that even the doorman recognized me. The casino floor manager jogged over as soon as he saw me. Mr. Vance, what brings you here by yourself this time? Heard some of my classmates were in town. Thought I'd drop by. The manager nodded eagerly. Yes, a group of university students came in this morning. Had I known they were friends of yours, I would have ensured they received our finest service. I waved a hand dismissively. It's fine. Just show me where they are. He smiled and pressed 10 chips into my hand. Please, Mr. Vance, enjoy yourself. These are on the house. I tossed the chips in my hand. Each one was worth $10,000. I smiled and accepted. The main casino hall was a dazzling sea of light and a cacophony of sound. The moment I stepped in, someone at Caleb's table spotted me. A wave of derisive laughter followed. Well, look what the cat dragged in, Caleb drawled, swirling a glass of champagne. The diamonds on his cufflinks flashed under the lights. What's the matter, Leo? Had a change of heart? Decided to join the party. Mia was draped over his side, her freshly manicured nails tapping a pile of chips. You should have just lent us the card in the first place. Now you come crawling all the way here. She drew out her words. Don't tell me you regret it already. He probably saw how much we're winning and got jealous. Kevin Miller roared with laughter, slapping the felt of the table. Finally figured out who the real winner is? Too late. I calmly unbuttoned my suit jacket and took a seat at an adjacent table. Just as the dealer was about to deal the cards, Caleb kicked his chair back and strode over to me, a cloud of cheap cologne and stale smoke preceding him. Still acting so high and mighty, he slammed a stack of chips on my table. They rolled and scattered near my hand. Call me boss. and I'll spot you a few chips to play with. The manager started to hurry over, but I held up a hand to stop him. I gently pushed one of the chips away with my fingertip. Caleb, do you know why casino floors are carpeted? He blinked. What? To reduce slipping, I said calmly, and to cushion the knees of anyone who loses so badly they can't stand up. The entire VIP section fell silent. Caleb's face turned purple with rage. Behind him, his friends were still holding their celebratory champagne glasses, the foam now trickling lamely down the sides. The crystal chandeliers bathed the hall in a light as bright as day, and the chip under my finger refracted a cold, hard glare. Suddenly, a chorus of groans erupted from the other table. The mountains of chips in front of my 40 classmates were crumbling at a visible rate. Lost again, the athletic rep cursed, slamming his fist on the table. The back of his Armani shirt was soaked with sweat. Mia glanced at the measly 10 chips in front of me and laughed, tightening her grip on Caleb's arm. How about this, Caleb? Why don't you play a few hands with Leo? Let him win a few chips, so he can have a little fun before he goes completely broke. Before I could answer, Caleb plopped down in the chair opposite me. What's your game? I asked. Blackjack. Keep it simple, Caleb shrugged. It was his best game. Fine, I said, but playing hand by hand is too slow. Let's go all in. I pushed my 10 chips into the center of the table. You're on. I'll match, Caleb said, shoving a much larger stack of his own chips forward. Just before we began, I caught a glimpse of Caleb discreetly slipping a card into the dealer's hand. I just smiled and said nothing. The dealer began to deal. 2 cards each. Caleb's first face-up card was an ace of spades. A nearly imperceptible smile touched Caleb's lips. Clearly, this was what he'd expected. He peeked at his second card, a king of spades. His smile widened into a full-blown grin. He had a perfect 21, a natural blackjack. I looked at the 2 face-down cards in front of me and spoke calmly. Hit me. The dealer gave me a third card. I didn't even look at it. Hit me. A murmur went through the onlookers. Is this guy crazy? Taking 2 hits? He's going to bust for sure. Caleb snickered. Leo, this isn't Go Fish. What are you going to do with all those cards? The manager, standing nearby, was also sweating on my behalf. Hit me, I said again. Holy shit, the guy's lost his mind. 3 hits. Caleb just shook his head, laughing. Someone get this man a rule book. I ignored them all and looked at Caleb. Show your cards. Open your eyes and watch closely. Caleb gloated, flipping his cards over. This is how you win. A king of spades and an ace of spades. Blackjack, a perfect 21. Caleb's got this in the bag. The best possible hand. Ha ha ha, Leo. You're going to lose the shirt off your back. Don't tell anyone you were in our class. It's too embarrassing. I turned over my cards. 3 deuces and 2 threes. A pathetic total of 12 points. But everyone froze. Because while my cards were small, I held 5 of them. And in this casino, a 5-card trick beats everything. Even in natural blackjack. Mia shrieked, her nails digging into Caleb's arm. You said it was a sure thing. He cheated. He must have cheated. That's impossible. Caleb roared, shoving Mia away and slamming his hands on the table. I just shrugged. Looks like Lady Luck is on my side tonight. Mr. Reed, the manager's alligator skin shoe ground a fallen chip into the carpet. He wore a plastic smile. Your outstanding debt has reached $980 million. Due to the high amount, you will need to settle your balance before you can continue to play. The table went dead silent. Mia's champagne glass slipped from her hand and shattered on the marble floor. What are you talking about? You think I can't pay? Caleb kicked a chair over and pulled a gold-trimmed VIP card from his Hermes wallet. Look closely. I'm a VIP here. I have a $50 million line of credit. The manager used a pair of tongs to pick up the card, examining it closely. Suddenly, he turned and bowed deeply to me. Mr. Vance, he announced, his voice carrying across the quiet room. This is the VIP card your father registered here 3 years ago. He paused for effect. As per our policy, it can be used by direct family members. For a non-cardholder to use it, a $500 million security deposit is required. The expressions on my classmates' faces froze, as if someone had hit pause on a movie. Kevin Miller still had champagne foam clinging to the corner of his mouth. The manager's expression turned severe. When you first presented this card, I assumed you were friends of Mr. Vance. However, we have just confirmed with him that he does not, in fact, have any friends by your names. Hearing this, the group turned on me. Leo Vance, I can't believe you. Just because Caleb didn't personally invite you, you're disowning your own classmates? You're a real piece of work. I let out a cold laugh. I don't have any classmates who would steal my VIP card without my permission. Whatever. It's just a stupid card. We don't want it. Mia snatched the gold trim card and threw it back at me. Caleb, just pay them. Pay them, and we can keep playing. The manager brought a portable card reader to the table and tapped his ledger. Mr. Reed, your current debt is $1,480,000,000, as per casino rules. Shut up. Caleb burst out laughing, a wild, unhinged sound. He reached into his jacket and slammed a gleaming titanium card onto the table. The card, bearing the unmistakable logo of a prestigious Swiss bank, cast a cool blue-black light. Look closely, he snarled, his trembling finger tracing the embossed gold letters. The entire VIP lounge fell silent, all eyes fixed on the man about to settle fortune. The manager swiped the card. A single, sharp beep echoed. I'm sorry, sir, the manager said, his brow furrowed. The payment has been declined. Caleb snatched the machine and hurled it to the floor, where it shattered into 100 plastic pieces. This thing must be broken. Give me another one. The manager watched Caleb's meltdown with unnerving calm. He gestured, and a server immediately appeared with a brand-new card reader. Beep. Payment declined again. Now, it was Caleb's turn to panic. His face ashen, he fumbled for his phone and shakily dialed the bank's customer service line. As the polite, automated voice on the other end spoke, Caleb's expression twisted into a mask of horror. He hung up and slowly lifted his head, his eyes locking onto mine, filled with a furious, disbelieving rage. Leo Vance. Why didn't you take the inheritance? He bellowed, his voice echoing through the vast hall. I shrugged, affecting an air of complete innocence. I just felt I wasn't ready to handle a $3 billion fund. Besides, my decision not to inherit froze my account. What does that have to do with you? I paused, feigning confusion. Unless you didn't inherit your family fortune either, and that's why your card was declined. Caleb's face flushed a deep, blotchy red, his fists clenching so hard his knuckles turned white. Hearing my words, the surrounding students began murmuring, their suspicious gazes darting between Caleb and me. Mia, seeing the tide turning, quickly stepped forward, forcing a strained smile. Leo, don't be like that. If you don't take the inheritance, how will you live? Maybe you should go back and apologize to your father. Just take the money. I chuckled softly and shook my head. No, thanks. My expenses aren't that high. $1,500 a month is more than enough for me. Caleb finally snapped. He pointed a shaking finger at me, his voice cracking. Leo Vance. You son of a bitch. You did this on purpose. You knew the card would be frozen. You set this whole thing up to screw us over. At this, the rest of the students finally understood. They rounded on Caleb. Caleb, you said you were rich. Pay the damn bill. Yeah, aren't you a trust fund baby? You can't cover this. We only came here because of you. Now what are we supposed to do? Backed into a corner, the veins in Caleb's forehead bulged. He yanked another card from his wallet, slammed it on the table, and snarled, This card has $10 million on it. I'm paying my share and that's it. The rest of you are on your own. Mia's eyes widened in disbelief. Caleb, how can you do this? We all came here together. He shot her a freezing look. Not my problem. Figure it out yourselves. The students erupted. Some started screaming at Caleb, calling him a heartless bastard. Others turned to me, their faces etched with desperation. Leo, we're all classmates. Please, you have to help us. Yeah, you want all those chips. You can cover our debt, and we can all still be friends. I shook my head, my voice calm but firm. Sorry, we stopped being friends a long time ago. The manager, seeing the chaos, stepped forward, his face an emotionless mask. If you are all unable to pay your debts, we will have to proceed with legal action. Or, he paused, his gaze sweeping over each of them, landing on their hands. You can leave a hand behind. His words fell like a bucket of ice water. The casino went deathly silent. My classmates' faces turned a ghastly shade of white. Some of them, their legs giving out, collapsed right onto the floor. Leo, please, we know we were wrong. Kevin Miller was the first to drop to his knees, his voice choked with sobs. It was all Caleb's idea. He told us you were loaded, and that we should all take you for a ride. Mia, panicked, quickly tried to distance herself as well. Caleb, watching them all turn, trembled with fury. You ungrateful leeches. Who was it that was kissing my ass to come to Vegas in the first place? I watched the ugly scene unfold with a sense of detached calm. Their betrayal and cruelty in my past life had finally brought them to this. They had earned it. The manager gestured, and several large security guards moved in. Since you can't pay, we'll proceed according to house rules. Don't touch me. Caleb struggled, screaming, I already paid my debt. The manager smirked and produced a small card from his pocket. The very one Caleb had slipped the dealer. Mr. Reed, he said slowly, You have settled your personal gambling debt, but you still owe a $500 million deposit for using Mr. Vance's card. And the manager's eyes turned to ice for attempting to bribe my dealer during a game. The house requires you to leave a hand behind. Caleb's face went slack with terror, cold sweat pouring down his temples. I need to make a phone call, he stammered. An hour later, Caleb's father, Robert Reed, arrived at the casino, looking harried and exhausted. He was impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, but his face was a mask of fury. The moment he saw his son, he slapped him hard across the face. You worthless idiot. Do you have any idea what kind of trouble you're in? Forcing his anger down, Robert Reed turned to the manager with a placating smile. My son is young and foolish. Please, is there any way we can resolve this? Amicably, the manager impassively handed him the bill. Mr. Reed, your son's debt, including the security deposit, comes to $1,480 million. Oh, and he's already paid $10 million. If you can clear the remaining balance, I can forget today's events ever happened. Robert Reed's vision went black. He nearly fainted. He looked at the bill, his hands shaking. This is too much. I can't come up with this kind of cash on such short notice. The manager smiled thinly. We accept assets as collateral. In the end, after a long and agonizing internal battle, Robert Reed mortgaged his company, his life's work. Even then, it wasn't enough. He had to call the other students' parents. To save their children's hands, they sold their houses, their cars, and borrowed from anyone who would listen, finally scraping together enough to fill the massive hole. When they returned home, the students found themselves destitute. They had lost everything. Their homes, their cars, their savings, and their parents' trust. All of it because of Caleb's arrogance and greed. The furious students gathered together. Someone said, his voice trembling with rage, Caleb Reed ruined our lives, and he just gets to walk away. His dad mortgaged his company, but what about us? We have nothing left. We can't let him get away with this. That night, a mob descended on the Reed family's mansion, cornering Caleb and his father inside. Robert Reed tried to reason with them, but the crowd was beyond logic. Burn it down, someone screamed. Flames shot into the night sky, engulfing the sprawling villa. Trapped inside the inferno, Caleb and his father screamed, but no one moved to help. The fire lit up the night, reflecting in the twisted, hate-filled faces of the students watching from a distance. There was no pity in their eyes, only the grim satisfaction of revenge. The next day, the news was everywhere. Tech mogul and son die in mansion fire. Arson suspected. As for Mia, after her family's assets were liquidated to pay her debts, she lost the glamorous life she cherished. The designer bags, the Cartier watch, the jewelry, all of it was seized by creditors. With nowhere else to go, she swallowed her pride and found me, her face a mess of tears and cheap, running makeup. Leo, I know I was wrong. I was out of my mind back then. Can you please forgive me? I sat across from her in a coffee shop, watching her pathetic display, and smiled faintly. You know, Mia, you look more honest right now than you did when you were kicking in my ribs. Her face froze. I turned and walked away, leaving her to her hysterical screams. Leo Vance, you'll get what's coming to you. 3 months later, I saw her on a late-night news report. The footage showed her being led away in handcuffs, her once perfect hair a tangled mess, the diamonds long gone from her broken nails. She had apparently been posing as a socialite, scamming a string of wealthy young men before her scheme finally fell apart. I looked out the window at the bright afternoon sun. In this life, everyone had finally gotten what they deserved. 3 years later, my father officially handed the family business over to me. At the ceremony, he placed a hand on my shoulder, his eyes filled with a pride he couldn't hide. Leo, you've done exceptionally well these past 3 years. It seems your choice to gain some experience was the right one after all. I accepted the ceremonial seal, the symbol of our family's legacy, to thunderous applause. After the ceremony, my new assistant handed me a file. Mr. Vance, this is the asset inventory for the remaining parts of Reed Industries that we've just acquired. I flipped through a few pages. How should we proceed with them? She asked. I closed the file and looked out the window at the city skyline, a glittering tapestry of skyscrapers. The fire from 3 years ago had burned away all the old grudges. Standing here now, looking down from the top, even the memory of hatred felt small and insignificant. No special treatment, I said, turning toward the boardroom. Handle it by the book. Outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, the setting sun bathed the entire city in gold.